Hi, I'm Rhonda Hagan, the mayor of Bloomfield, and we're here to have a focus on the history of Bloomfield. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Gary White and Debbie Abels and Central Kentucky Television for giving us this opportunity. At this time, we're meeting here in the Beecham House home, which is one of the oldest buildings in Nelson County, as a matter of fact. It was actually built in Virginia, and the reason it was built in Virginia is because it was built here in this spot before Kentucky even became a state. At this time, I'll introduce to you some of our local historians, and over here we have Dr. Bob Hendren, we have Jane Cecil, and then we have Mary Lou Muir-Kroon. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in to us, and we're going to share some of Bloomfield's history.
Hi, I'm Debbie Avels with the Simply Put newspaper, and I'm here with Central Kentucky Television in Bloomfield, Kentucky, a wonderful, quaint town that everybody needs to know about. And so that's why we're starting a community focus in 2014 to pick out specific areas that we think that people need to know about. And I'm here with some great guests, and they're going to tell us why you all need to know about Bloomfield, and I'm just going to let them start. One of the things we find interesting is the fact that right in the center of town is this wonderful reference room, and I'd love for you to tell us about it, Jane, so that everybody understands that they can come, and then Mary Lou can tell us about the days that they're open, and let's just start in and tell them why come to Bloomfield and care about this reference room.
Well, we think everybody should like Bloomfield as much as we do. In fact, love it as much as we do. In case you don't, we'd like to bend your ear. We have a fantastic history, we think, here in Bloomfield, dating back to the early 1790s. And it's a delight to be with you today in a house that was built in Virginia just before Kentucky became a state. This house belongs to our friend, Dr. Robert Hendren. He tells us that he's often asked, "Oh, how did you get that house here?"
Right.
Believe it or not, the house hasn't been moved. It was here, and then Kentucky became a state. We like to say that we have this wonderful room thanks to him.
Right.
Not exactly the most organized or up-to-date modern technology in here that you would think of. We are not a museum because we do not have the space.
Right.
But we are strictly a reference room, hoping that when you do come to visit us, you might want to stop and look up some information about what used to be,
right,
or who used to be here. The room is open by appointment, or on one afternoon a week. We have a young new friend,
yes,
who has recently come on board with us older folks to promote our history, and she can tell you when she'll be here and what we'd like for you to enjoy while
and
you're
it's
here.
Wednesdays?
Wednesday from 1 to 5.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm here later.
Okay. And we'll find out later how you were able to entice her, or what came about to have her be the next generation protecting the history and also gathering more information. Tell us about the fact that it's located in the Beecham House and how it came about being in the Beecham House, Dr. Hendren.
Well, John Bemis was a doctor that had an office here. The original house belonged to John Simpson, who was in the surveying party that laid off the land grants here in this area. And he picked this place to live and built his house here in 1792. But the surveying party was in 1779 was when the surveying party was here. And he built this house here and sold it to Dr. Bemis, who sold the lots for the town.
Okay.
In 1812, I think. And he bought the house in 1811. Then he had an office here. He sold the office to Dr. Bemis, to Dr. Merrifield, whose wife was Dr. Bemis's daughter.
Yes.
And he had an office here for a while. Then there was like a printing press, I think, here then belonged to Spencer Clark. and he was here a few years and printed the story of the Beecham tragedy. That's one important thing in the history of Bloomfield, and of interest to everyone because the two people that were killed in the Beecham tragedy are buried in Maple Grove Cemetery.
Right.
And there's a young man named Jeroboam Beecham that was in love with a young lady named Ann Cook, and they lived in Simpson County but had a lot of relatives here.
Okay.
And she felt that she had been wronged by a politician in Frankfort named Solomon
Sharp.
Solomon Sharp.
Anyway, she told this young man that if he really loved her, that he would that he would kill this man.
Uh-oh.
So he did, and he came through Bloomfield on the way to do it, and on the way back and visited family and all.
Right.
And pretty soon they found out who did it and everything, and they were both in the Frankfurt jail. Both attempted suicide, and she was successful, and then he died a few days later when they hung him, I think, wasn't it? So anyway, she was wrote a lot of poetry and wrote a poem about it and put it on a headstone that lays over the top of the grave. And one of the phrases in the poem was, we're entwined. I think that was the name of the phrase. We are entwined in each other's arms for eternity, or something like that.
She wanted to be buried in
Anyway,
Compton
she
House.
was,
Right.
in my opinion, a very vain woman that had this young man do this for love, but was for her vanity. And very great tragedy in this community and throughout the state. And anyway, back to who wrote the book. There was a printing press here, and they wrote a story about it and sold the books